Recently I made a video about long takes. There was a lot to go over, so I set aside a couple digressions to get videos of their own. The Birdman 1917 comparison and now this one, which I consider the last long take appendix. Because in the first video I only defended tracking shots from classic cinema, I figured a few modern films deserved a little love as well. In fact, I'm 90% making this video to talk about one of my favorite long takes from modern cinema. And you won't believe what film it's from. It's from Oliver Stone's JFK. Yes, one of the cuttiest, montage-iest films of its age. It has one of the most visually articulate tracking shots from the last decades. Try and remember a long take from it. That's part of the reason. While you think about it, let's go over some other great ones.
We're going back into the case, Lou.
It's no secret I'm crazy about Kenneth Branagh's Hamlet, which is full of excellent wonders I've covered before, but right now I want to go over his Henry V.
And monarchs to behold the swelling scene.
Its most famous tracking shot is the post-battle musical march, with Gilderoy Lockhart carrying baby Batman for half a mile. A terrific shot, but it's a mood piece, and I'm here to defend dramatic scenes. The one with my favorite direction being this moment when Brian Blessed arrests the traitors. This is an extremely classical looking take, with minute positioning of actors accompanied by detailed framing.
No king of England, if not king of France.
Watch closely. We start on Brian.
Gordon's alive!
Three-quarter view. We follow him to the other side of the room and end on a profile two-shot. I call it a vase in the Birdman video. He will talk to three men, one at a time, and the framing makes sure to keep that one at a time aspect of the dialogue. We only see him and the first man. He moves closer to the camera, which pulls back to reveal the second traitor. A second arrest and the process repeats. The two-shot naturally evolved to an ensemble. Now Brian moves to the back and his vacant position is immediately filled by Branagh. Notice how Blessed fills the empty space to the right in the background. Some seconds ago when he was in the foreground, he was more to the right, so the frame was already balanced. But Branagh steps closer to the traitors, which would have left empty space on the right, avoided by careful blocking. This is pure precision in composition. Now Branagh moves to the back. When Blessed walked back, it was to make room for the king. If he is walking back now, is it to make room for someone else again?
Bear them hence.
Yes. Now that this space is clear, both Branagh and Blessed approach the camera, stopping precisely on a close-up, with room for a friend. The shot is so classical it ends with a dissolve into the next scene. If you're used to the channel, you know that this is my jam, man. Pieces moving in perfect order to the rhythm of a story. You even forget there's a camera involved because it needs to do so little. The actors themselves approach and depart from the screen to guide your attention. You can't change a detail or it all collapses. What about an entire film built out of shots like this? Then try the cinematic adaptation of Michael Frayn's stage play, Noises Off. Peter Bogdanovich's masterpiece, and as close as a modern movie ever got to full classic direction.
But here we are, we're all thinking, my God, we open tomorrow. We've only had 2 weeks to rehearse. We don't know where we are, but my God, here we are.
That's right, sweetie. Isn't that right, Lloyd?
Beautifully put, Gary.
Michael Caine plays a theater director staging a farce in a two-level set. It looks excellent on stage, with fast-paced choreography, breathless energy, and full use of the location.
I've been going mad. Look at the state I'm in.
Then in comes the cinematic side of the direction, and you realize how all the physical activity rehearsed doesn't only fit the stage but also the camera, capturing the action in deep focus from the ideal angle, keeping up with the cast by panning, arcing, tilting and booming.
Nothing but flapping doors in this house.
Final notice. Steps.
The movie screen is mapped out entirely, the sides up and down and in depth. Everything looks like an absolute nightmare to prepare and a dream to behold.
But I remember I used to do bully and false. What am I doing now? I'm breaking into paper bags.
It's interesting that Siskel and Ebert gave the film 2 thumbs down, the reasoning being that, basically, it wasn't as good as the play.
Watching that scene on film, I felt distanced from the action. It's like the filmmakers made it happen, which of course they did. On stage, one is amazed to see that kind of scene played out in real time.
They claim that seeing actors perform live is better than on screen.
When you see it in a movie where there are cuts, where there are angles and so forth, and where you know that there are different shots that are being done, the peculiar magic of that kind of choreography is completely lost.
Well, I can't argue with magic, but I can argue that an angle is an entirely cinematic tool that adds possibilities absent from theater. Having an angle makes it more than an actor walking from stage left to stage right. It's an actor walking left to right, middle ground to foreground, therefore increasing in size and importance. The choreography is built to include the camera, which must hit as many marks as the actors. Take this shot when the ensemble is discussing the play's alcoholic veteran actor. Kane guides Carol Burnett to a spot. The other actors join them, making a point to leave empty space here, which reveals to us, not to them, the subject of their conversation in the background. Unaware, Burnett even points to the exact spot he is on screen.
I mean, he was standing right there in the orchestra before we started. I saw him.
This type of staging is entirely cinematic. Cinema and not theater can present a moment built for one single, unique, irreplaceable angle. And Bogdanovich greatly improves the play by always showing the action from that exact angle.
A line, a prompt.
Get the fan loaded.
What?
Get the fan loaded!
Siskel and Ebert are usually insightful, but I find their attack here surprisingly blind to the uniqueness in the language of cinema. It's like they only saw the story and not the technique behind it, which is ironically what this invisible technique is going for.
I didn't think it was that funny.
No, I didn't either.
Still love those two. Another thing, in case you're enjoying the video, please join me on Patreon, the absolute best way to get more like this. And you'll get them earlier than anyone else. Liking and subscribing also helps. Moving on, remember this scene from Heat?
Great ass!
Sure you do.
And you got your head all the way up it!
But do you remember how it starts? It shouldn't count as a long take as it's 23 seconds long, and the rule says they should be at least 30 seconds long. But I made the video, and the rule. So look at this nice little thing Michael Mann made. Hank Azaria in the foreground watching the cops through a window. The camera circles with his movement, and as soon as he's put down his phone, the subject has changed to Pacino, who in a few seconds will shove Azaria right into our faces.
Oh, Mike? Hey! Lieutenant Vincent Hanna, LAPD.
Notice that the camera kept arcing as the cops came in, and Azaria moved from left to right. It was both following the many movements of the ensemble and positioning itself in the correct angle to make Pacino's violence more involving. We tilt to Pacino distracted by his putting away his badge, then tilt back down alongside his manhandling motion. He places Azaria in a chair as the camera circles some more to find the perfect angle to get the ensemble. While all this was going down, these two actors were finding their spots behind the table and in the background. We end the shot with everyone in place for the remainder of the scene. Our most important players in the middle, the background guy in the perfect position to make the next shot even more humiliating for the man in the chair.
Okay. Las Vegas PD takes you into custody.
Also, these two found positions that both bookend the final angle and add balance to the next shot, which is wide and with 4 layers of depth. That's some gorgeous staging right there. Quick, to the point, and the scene is set and damn well set at that. The camera simply circled from left to right with a little up and down in the middle. The action on screen is so vivid, the camera and the actors are in such coordination you completely forget the technique.
LAPD.
LA, this is Las Vegas. You don't even have jurisdiction here.
Michael Mann is very much an intensified continuity director, but he's always paid more attention than most to blocking and camera placement. Wait. Speaking of placement, J&B was on a tear in the 90s, huh?
Oh, give me a quick J&B and a double.
Let's get to JFK. Did you remember any long takes from it yet? It has a couple between Jim Garrison and his wife.
Oswald was a radar operator. He'd have about as much use for Russian as a cat has for pajamas.
These books have gotten to your mind.
But we're going over Joe Pesci's crime scene. It's a phenomenal activity-heavy 3-minute wonder.
Shot this whole scene in one 360-degree take, which I cut up, but I think you can see the flow here.
The camera starts as in a horror film, prowling through the door. It's catching up to the stretcher and taking in the production design. Then it abandons the stretcher to seek the dead body. It pulls back and tilts to find the ensemble.
Looks like natural causes.
As Michael Rooker arrives, Costner ducks out of the frame to examine the scene and make room for the speaking actor.
To leave this life is for me a sweet prospect.
We seek down to see the spec table, then a bit up to capture Costner and Pesci. We follow Jim out of the room. The camera lingers on the bed, then it seeks the dressing table, closing in on Costner's hand, then up to his reflection. Oceans of information about the dead man being delivered through the production design. Then we cut, in the middle of the tracking shot, to what Jim imagines happened to Dave Ferry. Or it's a flashback to his assassination. The film never clarifies. Back to the shot as if nothing happened. What? You didn't expect JFK to really not cut for 3 minutes, did you? Lou arrives and there's another black and white cutaway. The camera pans with Costner, and he goes to the other side of the room, leaving some space in the frame for his scene partner. Laurie Metcalf calls from off-screen, causing a pan.
Lou, boss. More bad news from Miami.
They join her and are interrupted by a third cutaway. Return to the take. The body passes by in the back, and we tilt to catch it. Costner goes to the left as other actors leave to the right. Rooker arrives to fill the right side of the frame.
When you receive this, I will be quite dead.
We follow Jim through another room as he asks the coroner some questions. And we have circled back to the living room, now minus a corpse. A cutaway of Joe Pesci running for Don Cheadle. The two actors move a bit to the right and closer to the camera. The final cutaway and we continue practically from the same spot. The coroner leaves the frame, Jim makes room for Lou, and we get a wide layered ensemble, like that one from Heat. Characters discuss all across the frame.
Newspaper Editors American Bar Association.
I agree with Bill. We haven't got them good yet.
Gonna get whacked.
The camera realizes this guy is useless and frames him out. As Jim leaves, we reframe slightly on Lou, who punctuates the end of the shot and the scene. There were 5 cutaways, totaling 8 seconds with 8 shots overall.
They hacked to death with a machete in his car.
Ranging from 7 frames to just below 2 seconds. The long take itself feels straight out of an Otto Preminger film, with more seeking than he'd have done. There's so much going on, being spoken, so much detail to look at that even in such a montage-oriented film, the camera work doesn't call attention to itself.
A very tough scene, but that's what the apartment suggested to me. It would be a nice move, and Bob lit it this way. We shot it in one take, but it took a bit of rehearsing. A lot of little details.
This movie has so many gobsmacking feats of editing, it had no need to have one of the best invisible tracking shots of recent cinema. But anyway, here's another feather in its cap. I love this film for multiple reasons.
Where you going, boss?
I don't know, Bill.
That's enough for today. What about you? What invisible long takes from modern cinema do you adore? And yes, 89 to 95 is modern cinema. What great, discreet, story-driven shots that nobody talks about come to your mind? Talk about them now. Thank you for watching.